This is rather disturbing to me. Now, my birthday is August 9th, 1972. I tried to look for my birth certificate. Now that's missing. Very unusual. I'm not blaming anyone I'm not saying anyone took it. But August 9th, 1972, I was born. Now, whatever. We all do those things on Google. We research our birthdays and this and that. We look back at history and the times, and there's the summer of love in '69, and you got the baby boomers and all this and that, and you start looking at like what's going on. That year, 1972, my dad was drag racing, and he had he did really well that year, and he met my mom the year earlier, and then he quit drag racing and got a professional job to make money because he was married. So you look at these things and you go, where was I in space and time? No pun intended. And I find some very unusual things. And I want to see, what do you make of this? Now, I'd heard about this, but I hadn't really ever researched it or thought much about it. But some of the things this person says, and other people apparently have said, are very unusual considering the time frame between two events that I'm going to show you. And he's correct that this solar flare, which at the time, and I think still was, one of the worst solar flares that ever occurred, they can't get the exact time pinpointed on it. And apparently there was some conference, like a worldwide conference of scientists. I'm not making this up at all. It's based on real shit. That met in the fall of 1972 to discuss these events. I don't know what that means. And by '73, they had remembered going to the conference, but they couldn't find any record of what they had decided on. There's literally saying that it evaporated. Now that's really weird because that's the kind of shit going on now that I can't make any sense of. I'm serious. So all these scientists went to some giant conference. I forgot where it was on the planet. And then by '73, it just says that all the scientists know they went to this conference, but they do not recall or have any written record of the conclusions that they came to. What's so amazing is a lot of the things that are being claimed is that there was some sort of great awakening going to occur that did occur to some people, very few, but didn't to others. And that this whole summer of love and even the whole '60s era was a build-up to a awakening that was going to occur, and that somehow or another it didn't happen the way it was supposed to go down. And then we get launched into the weird-ass, mid '70s, late '70s, into the Reagan Youth '80s. But had it gone down correctly and people were mentally or spiritually prepared, it would have been different. But that we were inhibited from that. And I think that happened again. I'm sure that happened again. In fact, that's exactly the conclusion I came to around 2016, that we were all headed towards this one area, and then boom, I wake up and all of a sudden everything's changed. And no one remembers yesterday. You know what I mean? It was really creepy, man. It creeped me out. Even people I knew were just they had alternative memories of things that I'm like, you're kidding me, right? Even if I had evidence of it, they just were like, I don't care, I don't believe it. So I don't know why I'm making this video. But check this out, but this is the weird part. So, again, I wasn't born on these days. I was born August 9th, 1972, Van Nuys, California, at 8:27 p.m. Okay.
This one's very interesting. I did a little bit before on it.
There's a few videos like this.
A little bit
sorry.
more on it. Most people don't know that on August 7th, 1972, the greatest solar flare
Sorry about that.
in the history of the planet occurred.
Yeah, knocked out telecommunications, all this shit. Sorry.
This is an abstract, some unusual features of the cosmic ray storm in August of 1972. Now you gotta realize, I'm the only one that knows this. On August 6, 1972, all life on planet was put to sleep, and they were not woken up until August 13th, 1972. All this is documented, but if you notice, every time it's talked about this large solar flare, the date, the time, it keeps changing. You're looking at August 4th to August 7th. They're giving all different types, what time it happened, what day it happened, 6:30 UT, 8 hours after. All right. Here's another abstract. They're giving it 1500. This is the common one, and then just keeps changing all the time. They're saying a giant shockwave from this hit the Earth. Let's get the PDF real fast. And then the major events during the 2nd to the 8th of August. Well, I know for a fact that it happened on August 7th because I remember August 6th being told that the whole planet was being put to sleep. On August 7th, after the event happened, Eastern Standard Time around 3 o'clock in the morning, I went to sleep. I woke up the following day. I observed all the light, the casting of the shadows. The telephone pole that was in front of my house had different lengths of shadows.
Shocks have merged.
From what I understand, you got to realize, everyone thinks of the Earth as having a North Pole and a South Pole. It does not. It's a giant crystal. It has a South Pole with 3 other poles, and then a North Pole with 3 other poles, and it shoots down like this. It creates an 8-sided magnet. That is what the Earth is. It's an 8-sided magnet. Ooh, you know what I could use? Alright, let's just shoot down and I'll get into that a little bit more
Now,
later.
hold on.
They call these a Type 2 and a Type 4 burst. In this solarstorms.org, they call it August 2nd, 1972,
Well, what happened?
the Space Age Storm.
What's going on? Right, hold on. They knocked out all the telecommunications for AT&T. They had to replace the whole Atlantic to the American telecommunications lines. Like, it caused a lot of problems. Like, you know, the CME. Everyone's talking about, you know, the magnetic pulse thing. Like, apparently this has already happened recently, and you know, apparently what happens is you don't remember it happens when it happens. So everyone's talking about be careful of EMP attack. Well, there have been some electrical problems lately, but I didn't notice anything like that. Well, you wouldn't have, is what they're saying. But here's the trippy part. It's what happened at 8:27 in the morning on August 10th that is tripping me out.
Here we go. Abstract. The intense solar flare of August 7th, 1972. There's that 15 universal time again. Type 2 and Type 4 burst. Pulse in the band of 100 to 200 megahertz. Traveling at a velocity of 1,500 kilometers a second. In which the shock generated by the solar flare was tracked through the interplanetary plasma right to the Earth.
Now, in the morning of August 10th, I've heard of this, but I never saw any footage or anything about it. Was what they call a meteorite fell out of the Earth, the Great Fireball, the Great Daylight Fireball. This is the footage of it. There's a few videos of it. Check this out. It's a meteorite. I don't think that's a meteor, dude. That was over Utah. And more than one person filmed it and even got pictures of it. Like, a lot of people saw it and went all the way across. Had it hit the Earth, it would have fucked it up. That's what they say. They say it was like half the size of the one that killed the dinosaurs. So it's a good thing, I suppose. Hold on. Just odd. Very odd. And again, I'd heard about this before, but I'd never, I thought, well, whatever, meteorites fall all the time. But I didn't think of it having any implication. Wait a second, so we had this big solar flare, and then a fireball that's going that slowly that you think is a fucking meteorite? It's like, what the fuck? See, I'll go back on fireball of 1972. There's a few videos on it. See, here's another one. I'm not making this shit up.
This rare footage of a meteorite in flight was taken quite by chance in Alberta in 1972. We'll show it to you twice since it's quite short. the meteorite only broke up a little and seemed to have skipped through the atmosphere and returned to space, which was probably just as well, since it was
odds that,
calculated to be about 150 feet across and would have caused quite some damage if it had come to Earth. Most meteorites, however, break up when they reach the Earth's atmosphere, like this one, which broke into...
There's a few things about this. You know, there's pictures of it. It's the asteroid of August 10th. And I checked out what time, and it was at 8:27. It was Central Time, not Pacific Time. That was the time I was born 12 hours earlier. And now I'm having these. I'm like, now I think everyone's lost time in their minds, and they don't remember things. Like, that's just weird.
This video is about the so-called Rocky Mountain meteor of 1972, which was seen on
Hey, what's that?
August 10th, 1972. Flew across from Salt Lake City to approximately Edmonton, Canada. Its perigee, the longitude was at 112.993 west, as shown in this diagram. It was photographed.
So you're trying to tell me that I was dropped off by a spaceship, right? Is that what you're trying to tell me? No. Something happened while I was born. Nobody remembers my birthday. I just think it's unusual, dude. I'm just, you know. I suggest everyone look up their birthday immediately and find out what happened before and after that day.
Can be looked up on Google.